All right, everybody, welcome to the SelfActualize podcast, the show where we bring you raw insights from the world's best coaches, authors, founders, peak performers. I'm your host, Amol Das, and today we're joined by one of the absolute legends in leadership and coaching. Couldn't be more excited to welcome Marshall Goldsmith to the podcast. If you've spent even 5 minutes in the world of executive coaching or self-development, you've heard his name. He's coached more than 200 major CEOs, written over 30 books, including the timeless What Got You Here Won't Get You There, one of my personal favorites, and built a coaching philosophy that's been adopted around the world. But beyond the books and the accolades, Marshall brings honesty, humor, and grounded perspectives that really hit home, whether you're running a startup or trying to be a better parent. In this episode, we'll dive into a few different things: why work-life balance is a myth, and what to do instead, the real difference between coaching and just giving advice, and how Marshall sees AI shifting in the future of leadership development. All right. So I'm excited. Let's get into it. Marshall, it's a pleasure to have you on the podcast, and it's really good to see you again. It's been a few months.
It is wonderful to be here, and it's great to see you again. And thank you so much for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for being on. So why don't we start a little bit with your story, right? You've got a pretty interesting story, like we went into last time, growing up in a small town in Kentucky, didn't do quite so well in school, no indoor plumbing, and then you become what you are as far as a popular author and coach. So tell us a little bit about that. Start at the beginning, if you would.
Well, as you mentioned, I was brought up very poor. We had an outhouse first 4 years of school, and didn't go to Harvard Prep. And our school was second to last in Kentucky in academic achievement. I got off to a slow start. I was a very smart kid, but had a bad attitude, and almost got kicked out of college. Got 5 Ds, barely graduated. But last year I gave the commencement address and got an honorary PhD. So I let's hear it from the bottom of the class here. You never know what's going to happen. Well, my story, then I got a PhD from UCLA. And the one thing I'll focus on, I think, today is mentors. I got to meet Dr. Paul Hersey, and it's related to one of the questions you're going to ask me. And he invented situational leadership with Ken Blanchard. And I did one smart thing as a youth. I knew I wasn't him. I didn't pretend to be him. And I said, I heard him, he invited me to go to one of his talks, and it was amazing. I said, I want to be that guy when I grow up. And that really sets a large part of the course of my life. And I said, I will serve the coffee, sit in the back of the room, move. I had a PhD. I'll move the tables. I don't care. That was smart. And so, one day he got double booked. He said, can you do what I do? And I said, I don't know. He said, I'll pay $1,000 for a day. I happen to be making $15,000 a year. This was 47 years ago. I said, are you serious? $1,000 a day? Sign me up, buddy. I go to this program, and they were so pissed off when I showed up as I wasn't him. But I got ranked first place of all the speakers. Why? I'm funny, interesting, telling stories. Boring. They love me. So then he comes and said, this kid again. That's how I got into business.
Wow.
Life is luck. I met Frances Hesselbein, former CEO of the Girl Scouts, an amazing woman. She introduced me to Peter Drucker. I was on his advisory board 10 years. What a blessing that was. So, my advice to people listening, get mentors. And if I look at my life, who's helped me? Great people. As you know, I give everything away. And one of the reasons I do is just a small token of gratitude. Those people never charge me money.
What was it about these guys that really stood out? Like, what was it about them that made you say, oh, wow, I want to be like this guy. I'll do anything to walk in their shoes.
Paul Hersey was a great teacher. I mean, he was just an amazing teacher. He presented common sense concepts. It's amazing. Peter Drucker was just smart. I mean, no offense to me, I'm a smart guy. I've got a PhD from UCLA, but compared to Peter Drucker, I had the brain of a 10-year-old. I mean, that guy's playing with another deck. He was really smart. And so just being around people, and I use what they taught me all the time. Also I'm a Buddhist, and a lot of my philosophy of life is based on Buddhism.
And when did you
charge me money either? I called Buddha up. I said, Buddha, I use your stuff all the time, buddy. Is it okay if I do this? Do I need to send you a commission? Buddha, it's good.
We didn't talk about that last time. When did you get into that? When did you get into Buddhism?
I was 19,
Oh, wow.
a long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah. And how did that come about?
I just studied. I was in a philosophy class and studied it. And I'm not a religious Buddhist. I'm a philosophical Buddhist. And I don't know if there's really Buddhists. I don't know what happened 6,000 years ago or something, right? I don't know. On the other hand, the metaphorical Buddha, 2,600 years ago, was his father was a king who bought a bridge. And his father thought, well, I keep giving you more, you'll be happy. And he protected it from life. He was able to sneak outside of this bubble 3 times. And the first time, he learned, people get old. Not so good, you get old.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, what's that mean? People get sick. Oh, that's bad. Number 3, you die. Not so good. Old, sick, and die. Buddha said all this more stuff doesn't do it. You have all that more, you still get old, sick, and die. He became a hermit and tried to really find peace and happiness with less. Starved himself. You know what he found out? Didn't work either. One day he finally realized something. You never find peace and happiness with more. You can never find peace and happiness with less. There's only one place you can find peace and happiness, here.
In the present.
That's it.
Present moment. Yeah. It's easier. I mean, it's easier said than done. There's a lot out there on meditation and mindfulness and staying in the present moment. I mean, how have you been able to, what's your secret to achieving that? Do you meditate or how do you stay present?
One is you've got a bad premise with the question. I achieved that. As if somehow you achieve this level of enlightenment, you go through life for eternity, and you never act like an idiot. That's not real. You see, you're looking for an answer that's permanent or a lasting answer, which is the contrary to Buddhist philosophy. You don't have to be happy forever. You don't have to find peace forever. There's only 1 second in time you need to find peace and happiness. Now,
Mhm.
you start looking for that, how can I be happy forever? You miss the whole point.
How did you get into coaching? Was that kind of a natural outlet from speaking and your books?
Sure, there was nothing called coaching. I work with a CEO of a company called Warner Lambert. He said, "This kid working for us, young, smart, dedicated, hardworking jerk. He's arrogant, stubborn, know-it-all. He's worth a fortune to me if I could change that kid behavior." I remembered fortune from my previous conversation. Fortune. I said, I like those fortunes. Maybe I can help him. He said, I doubt it. I said, maybe I can help him. He said, I don't think so. I said, look, I'll work with this kid for a year. If he gets better, pay me. Don't get better, free. You know what he said? Sold. Call coaching. I worked with that kid and he got better and I got paid. For 45 years, I didn't get paid if my clients didn't get better. By the way, do you know any other coaches can say that? No. No, you see, you want to test if somebody believes what they're saying, ask one question. Want to bet on it? And they say, oh, I believe it, but I don't want to bet on it. They don't believe it. I bet on it 45 years. That's why CEOs respect me. They understand that language.
Yeah.
If it's not worth it, don't pay me. You know where I learned that? I learned it back in Kentucky from a man named Dennis Mudd. He was putting on a roof. I was 14. We were very poor. And I helped him. And we put that roof on. And I had a bad attitude, but I was kind of proud of the roof. And he showed the roof to my father. His name was Bill. He said, Bill, I want you to inspect the roof. He said, if that roof is high quality, pay me. And it's not, it's free. I looked at Dennis Mudd. He was poor. He was as poor as we were. You know what I said? Man, that guy's got integrity. You know what I said? I want to be like you when I grow up. I have never had as much integrity as that man. You know what? He needed the money. He was poor. That's integrity. Look, if I didn't get paid, yeah, you're living in Rancho Santa Fe, California, do pay for results guarantee. That's one thing. You're a poor roofer from Kentucky, you do that. That's a whole different ballgame. So, that's where I learned that. So sometimes your heroes don't have to be famous people.
These CEOs and these other really successful people that you're coaching, what are they looking from you? What are they looking to achieve? What are you giving them?
Well, I help them achieve positive long-term change in behavior. So I give them all confidential feedback. They figure out what they want to improve. And then, I work with them for a year, year and a half, and they get better, not as judged by themselves, as judged by everyone around them.
There's a lot of noise in the coaching space right now, and you've talked about this. There's certifications, there are frameworks, obviously there's AI bots, and everyone's calling themselves a coach these days. People are slapping coach on their LinkedIn. I think you mentioned last time unemployed people used to call themselves realtors. Now they're calling themselves coaches. So what's your take on this? Like what's your unfiltered take on what's going on with coaching right now?
Well, it's not just coaching, it's a lot of the world right now. It's authors, it's speakers, it's songwriters. Give me a guess. How many songs just got released on Spotify on a typical day? One day, how many new songs? Guess.
I don't know. I'm going to say in one day on Spotify, brand new songs.
One day, how many songs?
I'm sure I'm going to be way off. This is just a wild guess. 10,000?
100,000.
100. Oh, wow.
Hey, well, the reality is many markets, coaching is not alone. I'm writing about this now. Realtors, coaches, songwriters, authors. What's happened? The number of books published skyrocketing. The number of bought isn't skyrocketing. So this is not a unique phenomenon of coaching. It's a phenomenon in a world of content. So, everybody in the world wants to be a media influencer. Well, it's not so easy to do that. So what's happened in the world is when you have a low barrier to entry, you end up with thousands of people in the marketplace. And that's it. And there's so many certifications of coaching now that, I think Jay Shetty has one and Adam Grant has one and I've got one and, everybody's got one.
So how does stakeholder-centered coaching fit in, though? I mean, what is stakeholder-centered coaching for people that aren't familiar with it, and how does it work?
Stakeholder coaching is very straightforward. People who do stakeholder coaching, you interview everyone around the client who are their key stakeholders first. We do confidential interviews. You
So like
don't
a 360 review.
Let's imagine you're the future CEO and I'm going to coach you. I'd say, okay, who are your key stakeholders? You give me a list. Then I bring in the CEO. Is that correct? The CEO has to agree. Now we've agreed who are these people. My typical client is 18. I interview these 18 people and then I write a confidential report on how they're seeing. I go over with the future CEO and okay, I feel good about this. Then I bring in the CEO. Do you agree? Does the board agree? Yeah, everyone agrees. Now, then I say, if this guy gets better at this stuff, is judged by these people, is worth this money, yes or no? If the answer is no, don't hire me. If the answer is yes, you can't lose. He gets better, pay me. Don't get better, it's free. You see, that language real people understand. That's not complex. Did I say anything hard to understand here?
Is this something that you created, or what was the genesis behind this?
Well, I'm a pioneer in the world of customized feedback and then it just came to me that why do people get better? They don't get better because they get feedback. You see, if getting 360 feedback would make you improve, everybody that got a physical exam in America would be in shape.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
don't get in shape because you get an exam. You got to work out. Then I realized the whole thing about this feedback isn't knowing what to do. They got to do it. So then they practice feed forward, which is another thing I invented. Feed forward is huge. So I teach them after that, you don't ask for more feedback. You ask for ideas for the future, you listen, you follow up, you work, and you get better.
You got to actually act. You got to take action. You got to actually do the stuff.
Actually have to work. Yeah.
Yeah. You actually have to go to the gym and work out, right?
Yeah, you got to work. And by
Yeah.
the way, if you don't work, you don't get better. And you know what I
Yeah.
tell you? You don't get better because of me. You get better because you worked hard. And by the way, if you don't want to work, you know what? I'm not going to work with you. I just leave. Bye bye. I ain't gonna get paid anyway. I don't need you. Bye bye.
And then how do you tell that up front when you're working with one of these CEOs? How do you know someone's going to come to work?
I said, did I say anything that was hard for you to understand for the last 2 minutes? I just say what I just said. These are busy people. They live in the real world. They get numbers. They got to get results, right? They don't want to waste time.
We had speaking of working, right? We talked a little bit about work-life balance last time. I mean, you're a busy guy. I'm a busy guy. I'm a startup founder. I got the family. I got 3 young girls at home. And we talked a little bit about balance. And then your advice was, forget the myth of balance. It doesn't really exist.
Yeah,
And you gave a really good lesson on how to spend time with my family, but also do everything that I can in the startup space and everything else. Talk to you a little bit about that, about measuring time that you
well,
spend with your family.
my daughter was 11 and my son was 9. I asked my kids, how can I be a better father? How old are your daughters?
So I have 3 girls. They're 9, 8, and 7.
You should ask them one-on-one, and you tell them it's not about money or treats. It's anything I can do in the way I treat you to be a better dad. You should ask them, have you done that yet? No, that's okay. You know, nobody does.
I've asked them, so I do this kind of in a fun way. I ask them, hey, what are 5 things that you like about me?
Well, that's good.
So it's a start.
Or there's anything I need to do better, it sounds like.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we all skip things, you know. It's
Yeah.
go back and ask your daughter, anything old dad could do a little better here. So I asked my daughter, how can I be a better dad? She said, Daddy, you travel a lot. And I have 11 million frequent flyer miles on one airline. I've been to 102 countries. So, but she said, that doesn't bother me. What bothers me is way when you come home, you talk on the phone, you watch sports, you don't spend time with me. And she said, I want to go to the party. My friend's house, and mommy didn't let me go to the party. I understand I would spend time with you, and you spend no time with me. She said, that was not right. What can I say? Well, thank you. I'm sorry, Daddy, do better. I started keeping track of how many days I can spend 4 hours with my family. 1991, 92 days, 1992, 110, 1993, 131, 1994, 135. I made more money the year I spent 135 days, 4 hours with my family, and the year I spent 20 days. What I learned? San Diego Chargers American football team do not care about me. Why am I wasting time? Look,
Yeah.
how old are you?
So I'm 45.
You're a young guy, you got 3 kids. Look, let me give you advice. Take care of your health, have a great relationship with your kids and your family, and work hard. And that's it. That's it. All that other well-balanced crap, let it go.
Yeah. I feel like if I ask my girls what I can do better, I'm scared they're going to say, let us watch more TV or give us the phone more. Give us more YouTube.
Give them the parameters to start with. So I'm going to ask you what I can do better in terms of my behavior. We're not talking about money. We're not talking about watching TV. The way I treat you, how can I do a little better?
Very true. What about so last time we talked, you were talking about a new venture that you were excited about. I think it's called Marshall Goldsmith Advisors. So tell us a little bit about that. It's been a few months. How's that going?
Well, it's just getting started, and I've asked, I think, 24 people if they want to do it. And guess what? Out of 24, how many said yes?
All 24.
All 24. And
100%.
it's amazing people. You know, Michael Bungay-Stanier, he's the world's expert. He's wrote a huge book on coaching. He's going to be in our group. Everyone that was the Thinkers 50 Coach of the Year is in the group. Nan Kande is in the group. Sun Yun Cheng is in the group. Also in the group, we have Teresa Russell, who was Chief Financial Officer of the United States, Marcus Collins, expert on marketing, Martin Lindstrom. This is an A team. So I got the top thinkers and advisors in the world, and we're all going to work together in a model like the Mayo Clinic. You come in, rather than, look, I'm no different than the other coaches. Most of my career, I've been selling a solution. I have been myself a hammer looking for a nail. Every coach has been a hammer looking for a nail. ICF coaching, why is that good? Well, maybe it's good for some people. It's a hammer looking for a nail. Everything's a hammer looking for a nail. I'm going to say my model is based on the Mayo Clinic. You come in, you got great people. You actually try to figure out what the client needs and tailor something based on what they need. Now, this is hard to do. How many hospitals have successfully copied the Mayo Clinic? Virtually none, for two reasons. Ego. People's egos are too big. And the second is compensation. Hospitals are paid for cranking out patients. Well, coaches are paid for cranking out clients. So this is a whole different way. Now, maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. Who knows? But I'm going to try it. By the way, we already have 3 clients, so we haven't even advertised it yet.
And then just stakeholder-centered coaching fit into this also?
Maybe. See, that's the whole point. Maybe, maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't need that. Maybe you don't need to work on your behavior. Maybe you need to learn finance.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you need to learn marketing. I don't know what you need. Maybe you need to plan your life.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. So, I mean, obviously, on a conversation like this, we also have to talk about AI, right? We've seen trends come and go. There's now we're in the middle of this AI revolution. What's your view of AI in coaching and when it comes to leadership development? And then also, you've created your own AI bot, right? The Marshall Goldsmith bot. We've created ours. You've seen our SelfActualize AI bot. What have you learned in that process of creating your bot?
I mean, I work on AI constantly, and I have my own AI bot, which I'm really working a lot on it. And you know, you ask good questions. How can AI help coaches? Now, my bot is not a coaching bot. This is a very important point. My
Yeah,
bot
it returns information, right?
Mine is information, not coaching. So mine is not pretending to be a coaching bot. Mine is providing you information, and it's not intended to give you coaching advice as such, because that's just not what it does. It is an information exchange. For example, AI can be a valuable tool for coaches by enhancing their ability to provide personalized and effective guidance. Here are a few ways AI can assist coaches. 1. Data-driven insights. AI can analyze large amounts of data from client interactions, providing coaches with insights into patterns and areas for improvement. This can help coaches tailor their approach to meet individual client needs more effectively. 2. Scalability. Well, AI can handle multiple clients simultaneously. It goes on and on, offering feedback at scale. That's my computer bot. And so, my computer bot's designed to answer questions. And that was my voice, of course, and it's going to be available in 44 languages.
And then what's your objective behind it? Is it really for legacy?
I have no idea. You see, I have an honorary PhD in engineering, but I'm not a real engineer.
Yeah. What motivated you to create it?
I want to give away all I know to as many people as I can for free.
What about the fear of AI? I mean, I
Well,
think a lot of coaches that I talk to actually, they're staying away from it. They fear it, that it's going to replace them.
why don't they stay away from the internet too? That might be
Yeah, exactly. Or stay away from email.
stay away from computers. And I think that whole idea of calculators is a bad idea. What do you mean they're going to
Yeah,
stay away from AI? I mean, what planet are they living on?
right. Yeah. I mean, you had the quote last time about the horse,
Well,
right?
this train has left the station.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's all good. I'm far from naive. It is real. It's not going to change. I use AI constantly.
Yeah.
I use AI constantly. You ever go to LinkedIn and see my posts? Those things are amazing.
So how would you recommend that coaches should use AI to make themselves better?
First thing is you need to understand it. You can use you got a client that needs to be a better delegator, right? Ask, get some ideas. Get some ideas. It's like having a friend with an IQ of 500 here.
Yeah.
You don't have to use it, of course. You're not that smart. Look, I am not as smart as my computer bot. I'm not as smart as an AI bot. Get real.
You ever use AI for role play? You ever use it as like a simulator and role play conversations?
Not exactly. It's an interesting idea. I haven't done it before.
Yeah, I actually do that all the time. So with SelfActualize, we have our own AI bought, right? So we work with authors, influencers. We're focused on leadership and sales. So what do salespeople do? Salespeople have to do conversations, they have to do pitches, they have to be in front of customers. They don't really get an opportunity to practice or role play. So you can do that with AI, right? We talked last time about Jeffrey Gitomer. He's one of your friends. So we've created the virtual,
Yeah.
yeah, we've created the virtual Jeffrey Gitomer. So if I'm a salesperson or if I'm a leader, I can role play with it.
I'm going to make one prediction. You created a sort of virtual Jeffrey. I doubt that thing you created as crazy as he is.
True. True that. That's 100%. It's like 85% of the way there.
Yeah, like my AA bot is not nearly as crazy as I am. I can guarantee you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, try role playing with it. I do that all the time now. That's like my new favorite thing to do. The other thing I like doing with AI is I like getting scores. I like, hey, rate me on this or rate me on that. So all of these conversations, we have these note takers. I can get the transcript. I throw the transcript to AI and I'm like, rate me on this call. Give me a score. It'll give me a score. It'll say you got an 8.7 out of 10 on this call.
It's wonderful. And you know what? I just talked to somebody whose CEO said, we're not going to hire any more communications coaches. CEO said, I just gave my speech to the AI and here's the critique I got. I watched the video and I'm not hiring any more of them. It's reality. Look, I'm going to message to all you people out there. You better learn something and differentiate yourself. If you do not differentiate yourself, if you have no differentiating variable, goodbye. Goodbye out there. Goodbye. You better bring something special to the market.
Yeah.
And if you don't,
Yeah, I mean it's one of those things. It's if I'm a leader or if I'm a sales guy or any sort of professional, if I'm going in a battle every day with these AI tools at my disposal and I'm using them on a day-to-day basis, and my competitors are not, right? I have a huge advantage. It's not that AI is going to replace me. It's that if I'm using AI effectively, I'm going to replace someone who's not using it.
yeah, it is what it is. So my advice is to everyone listening, do not waste 5 seconds of your time carping about the new world. You're not going to change it. No one asked you for your opinion. Your vote doesn't count. The train has left the station. And if you sit there and say, I'm not going to deal with AI, you look like a Luddite idiot. Grow up. This is the real world. Get with it or goodbye. It's like saying, like what are you supposed to say? I don't like the internet.
Or I'm not going to use email.
This is the world. Make
Yeah,
peace.
yeah, absolutely. Hey, Marshall, I have a favor to ask you. So last time we talked, we went through an exercise. We went through an exercise about just decompressing and letting it all go. You remember that?
A little bit. Tell me about it.
We went through something where you were, hey, just all that stuff, just let it go, let it
Yeah.
go. Doesn't matter. Focus on your work, focus
Yeah.
on your family.
Yeah. Yeah. All that crap you're carrying around.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a very important point. So I'm a Buddhist, and very important point. Are you ready for your coaching today?
Yes.
Wow. Thank you. Now I give you this feed forward. I give you ideas. You say thank you. Okay.
Got
So
it.
number one, smile more. Now, is your wife going to object because you smile more?
No,
Kids going to object because you smile more? Am I going to object because you smile more?
no.
Smile. You have a nice smile. You should use it more. Smile more. Now, second, this is to everybody. Don't worry so much. Look, life is what it is. Life is what it is. And we're all going to be equal. Last time I checked, I've done some new research since I've seen you. And some scientific research that shows we're all going to be equally dead here. But my new research indicates we're all going to be dead anyway here. So let it go. Let it go. All that crap. And the other thing is, if I really had to look back and say, what advice have I given people has been the most important? Ready? Forgive other people for being who they are. Forgive mommy and daddy for being not perfect parents. God, how many people haven't done that yet? I tell people, forgive your parents. It's a shocking number of people to start crying right there. Forgive your parents. Hey, they were humans. They did what they did. Forgive yourself for being human. How about your girls? I'm sure they're beautiful, but they're probably not exactly perfect, you know. And your wife probably better than you, but even may not be totally perfect, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Forgive yourself. You're just a human. Let go. Now, there's one thing you said that may indicate a potential problem for you. Are you ready for more coaching? You say, thank you, Marshall.
Yes. Thank you, Marshall.
Ready? I think you might still be looking for there. Idea that somebody's going to get there and get their act together and there's a there. There isn't a there. And the very act of looking for there keeps you from ever being anywhere. Nobody gets their act together. Nobody's got it all figured out. Every day we start over. Every day we do dumbass things.
Mhm.
Make peace.
Yeah.
Let it go. Just get comfortable with being human.
Very true. Thank you, Marshall. Well, Marshall, this has been terrific. It's really good seeing you again. Thanks for being on the Self-Actualize podcast. And thanks for taking me through another exercise of letting go and being present.
Oh, yeah. Okay, raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I'm just a human being.
I'm just a human being.
It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Well, Marshall, thank you, not just for the wisdom, but for the honesty. I mean, that was a master class in what it means to live with intention and being present. Really good seeing you again. Look, for anyone listening, if this conversation made you stop and think, then share it with a friend, a colleague, someone who's deep in the game and could use a different perspective. And please subscribe, share, and check out the Self-Actualize podcast and selfactualize.ai, the platform where the world's best coaches meet the future of AI powered performance. Until next time, I'm your host. This is the Self-Actualize podcast, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Thanks again for listening to this conversation with Marshall Goldsmith. And if you'd like to learn more about how AI coaching can level up both you and your team, connect with me at selfactualize.ai. Just scan the QR code and book a meeting with me. I'd love to meet you. Take care and talk to you soon.